Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about properties, specifically the commutative property and the associative property. Now, let's start off with the commutative property, since we touched base on this last week. Our definition is the order of numbers in an addition or a multiplication problem that can be changed without changing the final answer. So we also said that you could remember this as CO, change order. Now, another way you could remember the commutative property is thinking about your commute. You go from your house to school, and then you have to go from school to get home. Regardless, you're making the same commute, whether you go from school to home or home to school. The distance you traveled is still the same. Now, let's put this into an addition problem. Like you saw this last week, we have these 4 red apples plus these 2 green apples. This equals 6 apples regardless, whether you did the 2 green ones first or the 4 red ones. You're going to get the same answer. Now, let's look at this in a multiplication problem. If we went apple picking 2 times, and the first time we got 6 apples, and the second time we went apple picking we got 6 apples, we'd have 12 apples. But what if we went apple picking 6 different times, but only got 2 apples each? Regardless, we would still have 12 apples. This just shows you that multiplication you can do in any order, and you will still get the same answer. Now let's talk about the associative property. The associative property says that when you add or multiply 3 or more numbers, you can group the numbers in any combination. That means that they're going to stay in the same order. So another way you could remember this is SO, same order. Now, let's look at this in a real life situation to try to get you to remember it. So we have Joe here. He's friends with Larry and Janet. Joe associated with Larry or hung out with Larry first, but then the next day he hung out with Janet. He's still associated with the same amount of people regardless of which one he associated with first. That's one way or a trick that you could use to remember what the associative property means. So if we have 5 plus 4, in parentheses first, plus 2, we would do that 5 plus 4 first and get 9, then add 2 to that, which we would get 11. But what if we had the 4 plus 2 in parentheses first? We would add that together first and get 6, add it to 5, and we would get 11. Therefore, that means that this problem and this problem are equal. That is the associative property. They stay in the same order and the parentheses change. Now, what about if we did that with multiplication? 5 times 4, in parentheses first, would give us 20. Times 2 would give us 40. But if the parentheses were around 4 and 2 first, we would get 5 times 8, which would also equal 40. That means this problem and this problem are equal. And again, that is what the associative property stands for. They stay in the same order, but the parentheses change and the answers stay the same.